Welcome back to the Apex Racing Academy Porsche Cup. So for those issues, but hopefully we can still track all the racing which is coming to later on. We're currently midway through the qualifying session, so you haven't missed a whole lot. And still Luke Pennington at the top of the standings. I got across second place, and the time's trying to be improved. Leon Rudinja moving up to 5th position himself, and currently top of the top of the pros is Patrick Thompson. And of course, good news for Patrick Thompson and for Lewis Belicki. They're both being promoted to Apex Racing Academy. They're part of the Apex Racing Academy team now. And so they'll have a new livery on, and they'll have a new team name as well. And a bit of extra pressure on them as well to deliver for Apex.
Yeah, I mean, Apex has come a long way over the past few years and has become one of the more fighty teams at the top of sim racing. And yeah, that's going to come with a lot of pressure today. And well, by the looks of it, they're doing fairly well at the moment, up into 3rd and 4th. But still surprising to see Pennington and Koss at the top. And I think Pennington was one of the drivers who really performed last week at Bathurst, but just got unlucky in that final race. I think he came into contact with Nold, unfortunately, on that last race, and he was setting purple lap times. What could have been for him, and well, maybe this week's his redemption, and we'll see him at the top fighting. It's always a good thing to see different drivers throughout the season evolve, and seeing different drivers fighting for wins and podiums. And we saw it in ARL prototypes, some drivers coming through, at the start of the season not being that great, and then by the end of the season being normal podium contenders. Not talking about me. But Pennington, Koss, doing really well at the moment, and not honestly, some of the pros are not setting that good lap times. One of them being Nicholas Nold.
Yeah, Nold's got some catching up to do. Olsen is always a bit of a unpredictable one when it comes to his qualifying. He's currently down 33rd position overall. Pesk driver Bernardo Faria down in 35th position as well. Gabriel Salomon, only 32nd. He's got a couple of poles already this season as Salomon. He's far from that at the moment. They do have a couple more laps to go, but they do have to complete their lap times before the 32 minutes are up. Once the 32 minutes are up, that is going to be it for them. As you can see, Thompson and Belecki trying to work together at the moment in this qualifying session a bit. Not sure if they're 100% pushing at the moment, but maybe just lining up for another attempt after this one. I wonder if we should have a look at the championship standings just going into this round of the series. We'll have a quick glance at each of them because Salomon, as we were talking about earlier on, with a fairly commanding lead at the moment in the pros. He's about 50 points clear of the rest. Golestad and Co trying to chase him down. And in the pro-ams, I believe it's Igor Koss who is at the top of that one. It is. And a decent margin ahead of Tiago Pereira.
Honestly, Koss has got a pretty sizable lead, considering we're only a couple rounds into this season. And in the AMs, it's a lot closer. You got Asfalg up there. Marshall's looked pretty good over the last few rounds. Belicki as well. At the AM Championship is probably going to be the one we're going to be the most excited for this whole season, as it's always close in AMs, isn't it? And you usually maybe get 1 or 2 drivers sneaking into the A final per race, but judging by some of the pace of just how close the field is at the moment, I'm not 100% sure we're going to see too many AMs in the A final today. Maybe only 1 or 2. Who knows? These races can be as chaotic as ever. We've seen that, especially at the likes of Watkins Glen. Thompson, they're really sending it over the first few corners. And, well, this car, you have to be on the limit pretty much all the time, and especially around a track like this, it's absolutely terrifying when you do it, chucking the cars over the curbs. And, well, I've never really been that good in these Porsche Cup cars. I think I've mentioned this before. But, I wish I was. It is a fun car to drive, and watching these guys get the most out of it is so much fun to watch.
Yeah, some decent first few sectors, not necessarily personal best, but he's certainly in the ballpark as Patrick Thompson for an improvement. Meanwhile, Faria does move up into 4th place. That's much more like it from the Brazilian driver. Still waiting for improvements for Gabriel Salomon, who is got this lap and another lap, I believe. In fact, actually, Salomon might be on his last effort. Thompson, he's backing out there, or was that full speed? I'm not entirely sure. It didn't look especially aggressive compared to the rest of the lap. It was a little bit of a slower sector 3, so yeah, I don't think this one is going to be challenging anything for Thompson. Actually, a pretty good sector 4. Where does that put Thompson? I think it was a personal best, actually. But no, he lost out by 700 of a second. Meanwhile, Salomon was up into second position, and Lewis Balicki improving to third.
Yeah, that's more like what we are used to seeing from Salomon. He's still, however, I'm really shocked at Pennington. Not gonna lie, he's really been getting a lot better over these past few rounds, and wow, he's proving it today. No one really can seem to get within about half a tenth. Salomon and Balicki are the only drivers really to be able to do that. Michael Yanni goes second place, and he's really, really close to Pennington, but still no one able to beat Pennington's lap time. That is a real shock today. And well, he's got a lot of pressure on his shoulders and many, many skilled drivers behind him going into these first few races. But I mean, if he can keep this pole, I mean, he could take his first race win. Considering the pace we saw at Bathurst, this could be it for Pennington.
Yeah, this is even better than last time at Bathurst, and we thought that might be the heights of his season. Nicholas Knoll, this isn't the heights of his season. Race winner last time at Bathurst, but only 9th position in this qualifying session as the session ends. Reese Atkins saying, Vamos Johan Palomino, WTF is a green card. I think that's something to do with like citizenship into the US or something. And it seems like Johan doesn't need one. Is he in this race? He is not that I can see. So you'll have to wait, unfortunately, Reese, for race 2. Nick Horn saying hello on the chat. He's in race 2 as well as Nick. So hopefully, best of luck for that one, Nick. Glyn BT saying hello. Bogdan Kamadaru as well, team manager of Walk Racing, saying hello. So yeah, everyone on YouTube chat, welcome to today's race. Let's get into the grid then for this Heat 1. It's a surprise man at the top, Luke Pennington, ahead of championship leader Gabriel Salomon. Igor Kos in 3rd position. There's Bernardo Faria, Nicholas Nold, Victor Wolfson, Joe Vegard Godestad, Felix Votza, João Carlos Afonso, Tiago Pereira making it an all-Portuguese round 5, Lazarus and Key rounding out the top 12. They are the final drivers eligible for the A final as it stands. There's Olsen, Hereford, Jensen Pettersson, Volta making his Apex Racing League debut, Tim Perry, Johan Palomino. Palomino is in this race. Good luck to Johan. Then it's Tommy Molliord, Tim Balicki, Aidan Young, Andreas Langberg, Simon Andre Livingston, Nikolai Agard, and Gordon Marshall. Marshall serving a qualifying ban. Yeah,
the AMs have got quite a bit of work to do on their hands if they're going to be, well, anywhere near the top guys. And, well, Road Atlanta is really, really just... No one knows what can happen at this track. It's that first sector is so tough. And then that final sector is just full send. And, well, this first lap is going to be super difficult to survive. Let's see what happens.
The non-liveried Luke Pennington taking the pole position then for this Heat 1 of the evening for round 4 of the Apex Racing Academy Porsche Cup. And away we launch. It's not a good start for our pole sitter, but it might just be enough to keep his nose ahead of Gabriel Solomon heading into turn 1. He has the better line, but Solomon's going to try to send it on the outside. This is a move that's worked so well for him throughout the season, and he is edging ahead, and I think he's just about going to be clear, and we already have a change for the lead in our Heat 1 of the evening. Behind him, Bernardo Faria was able to get up a place. Liverpool start from Tommy Molliord. He's had a spin and drop back to the rear of the field, and I think that may have been Simon Andre Livingston, his fellow countryman, who he got in a tangle with.
Honestly, with that move from Solomon, like, I'm not even surprised anymore. We've seen him do it so many times this season. It's just normal at this point for him to go right on the outside, make it look as easy as you can. I think Pennington probably just gave him a little bit more space since it is lap 1, probably wants to survive, get some crucial championship points in the Pro-Ams, and Salomon is already creating a decent enough gap. Pennington isn't going to be able to attack him on this lap anyway, but Pennington, judging by his qualifying pace and what race pace we saw last week, I think Salomon might still have a difficult chance. And look at Noel, that's a send and a half. And I did say it would be full send on this first lap. He's just about got the move done. A little bit of argy-bargy with Koss there. but I think that's just fair racing. Koss trying to put his front bumper up in there, but nothing doing so far. But it's still Gabriel Salomon at the top, and there is 2 drivers going side by side. I think that's Goddestad and Alfonso as they cross the line.
Yeah, I think that might be Afonso getting past Goddestad. He's dropped a couple of places already, but Goddestad being able to take it back through turn 1. The 2 of them still side by side. You can just see them at the top. And actually, I think there was another driver getting involved in that one. Corey Lazarus right with these guys now. And he is going to be able to pull alongside, but Goddestad will just about hold on. There goes Olsen trying to take advantage, but it wasn't going to happen. There was a collision between Thiago Pereira and Glenn Key. We might be able to get a replay of that one, but that was quite an important move because they were on the outskirts of the top 12. And of course, it's the top 12 who get straight through into the A final in this race. And I think we're going to try to have a look at what happened to Key. This was down into the chicane, I believe.
Well, this is going to be full send on lap 1. It's super, super tight through here. Let's see what happens. It's still clean racing so far. And, oh, is he going to get squeezed? He is. And, I did get squeezed. And there was another car that was involved there as well. I think he just got squeezed, to be honest. I wouldn't really blame that on Glenn at all.
Yeah, it was whoever was the car on the inside. I think it was their fault. I think it was Pereira.
I think
Pereira?
so.
Yeah, it was Pereira, yeah. So that means that 12th place is currently Øystein Herford. Mads Lund Jensen is missing out as it stands. Gordon Marshall, who started from the back, is up to 14th place. He's up 12 places, is Marshall. What a climb from the Scottish driver. You would not have been fancying his chances after he picked up a qualifying ban. But he's made the absolute most of it. Leader of the amateur drivers right now, and 2 places away from a spot in the A final.
Well, I mean, yeah, this is what can happen here, and sometimes starting at the back can actually be good for you. Up 12 places is really, really impressive from him, and well, I honestly, judging by the pace that he's had all season, he's probably been one of the quicker AMs. Let's be honest, and well, he could find himself possibly sneaking into the top 12 if the guys ahead start battling, and there are a few more incidents which this track is notorious for. You know, there are many overtaking opportunities in this final sector. Cars going side by side and heavy braking down into this chicane. It's very likely that someone's going to have some kind of incident, whether it's the leaders or someone in 10th, for example, Olsen trying to overtake Lazarus. Something could happen, and well, it already has.
Yeah, Olsen has dropped down. He was passing, as you say, with Lazarus. And Olsen has remained in 13th place. That's 1 place outside the top 12. But the bad news for him is that he's got 2 seconds to catch up, because I don't think the car ahead of him is in spot, as there's going to be an attempt there from Marshall, but it's not going to work, and now there's going to be contact as well. Needs to hope they didn't pick up any significant damage. That was a fairly significant hit on the rear of the car. Young is just going to slide on through. I'm not sure what happened to Young in qualifying. He qualified down in outside the top 40, I think, did Aiden Young, which is very unlike the young man, but is up 8 places now from his start. And of course, all these guys a little bit further down, they've got an outside chance at getting into the top 12, but mainly what they're fighting for is a handful of points and also grid position for the B final. And Pedersen making that move. That's 2 places further up the order for the B final grid.
And Pedersen really hasn't looked on it today, to be honest. And there's Farrier just eyeing his chances on Pennington. And the gaps between the top 3 have kind of stayed the same over the last few laps. I think Farrier has a little bit more pace than Pennington and is just trying to edge him along now. But Salomon got a healthy gap, about half a second consistent. Young and Marshall still fighting. Farrier trying to go to the outside. This is a very, very difficult line at full racing speed. On lap 1, it worked for Salomon, but it's not going to work for Farrier, who now is trying to sneak up the inside as we head up the hill, but tucks back in behind. And he knows that 3rd place is okay in this first race. He doesn't need to go for those massive overtakes like it would be the last lap in the A final. He can just sit behind. 1 position isn't too bad, but that gap between Pennington and Salomon is just starting to increase every single lap, as Pennington was forced defensive on that last lap. I'm not sure Farrier trying to go for the move is the smartest thing to do. So we've only got 4 minutes left in this race. These heat races do go by incredibly quickly. And, well, that gap, a second at the top, could be game over already.
Yeah, I think so. It's all about just who's going to get 2nd place from here on in. And now that Farrier's held back Pennington, Pennington no longer has that draft from our race leader. And Farrier will move alongside, not necessarily the better line on the outside here, because the outside turns into the inside, of course. Pennington might try to take advantage of that, and that is what he is doing. Farrier not trying to get the cutback, he's trying to carry the speed around the outside. Here comes Nicholas Nold, who's going to get slightly underneath. Not a whole lot that he can do there, just has to get out of the thoughts also not to hit Pennington. And now Farrier's trying to pull to the inside as well, and now he does. It's a bit of an ambitious move from the Brazilian driver. Can't carry the speed up the hill. He's still got part of his car alongside, but he cannot make it around there. It's an extra bit of distance through that nothing turn two, and they all stay in the same order, but they're getting closer and closer. Felix Votter on the back of this 6-car train.
Yeah, this is just a battle for second now. That gap to the top is kind of just increased a bit too much. They've fallen out the slipstream. Not that it really had that much of an effect around here anyway, but just that little bit of helping hand that Pennington had is, well, gone away, and Pennington could be under a lot of pressure over these next few laps from Farrier, from Nold, who really was... I thought Nold was going to get the position on Farrier for third, but I think just being a little bit sensible is Nold. He knows he's still got a championship to fight for. It is a big old points gap at the top, but hey, anything can happen in this season, and every single point matters, so he's just taking it a little bit easy. Farrier is going to go for the move down the inside, but like you said last time, Sam, it does turn into the inside for the next corner, and that is definitely going to be a controversial move from Farrier, who really was not far enough alongside and just pushed Pennington out the way. I wonder what will be said about that after the race, but Pennington still manages to keep it on the track. Votter and Wolfson now going wheels to wheels. We head into turn one, and Wolfson just about getting ahead, more contact there, but just about managing to keep it on. But I wonder what you think of that, Sam. Do you think Farrier was entitled to that space, or was it just a bit optimistic from the Brazilian?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. The little tap, like, he wasn't understeering as such. I think it will really depend how far alongside he was when they started turning into the corner. But yeah, I could see that one going either way. Farrier is one of the most aggressive drivers on track, and now trying to follow in his footsteps is Nicholas Nod, who looks a lot faster than Pennington, who after his pole position is starting to slip down the order. They're going to have one more lap after this, and as long as Pennington doesn't lose too much time with Nold, he should at least have a top 4 in the bag and the Pro-Am victory as well. As here comes the German driver of Nicholas Nold. He goes to the inside as well. He's going to have to be committed to this one, Nold. He needs to try to compromise Pennington's line if he possibly can. Because if he's going to be cautious like that, then the British driver's going to have a chance back. But actually, real nice speed there from Nold. That was nice and clean. He did it quickly, and he's recovered back up to P3.
Yeah, that was a really impressive move for Nold, and well, like I said a lap ago, every point matters, and he's got himself onto the podium. It's going to be, again, crucial grid positions for the A final as well. If you can get as many positions as you can in this first heat, you will just start further up. As I believe third in heat 1 is 5th in the final, I think. Yeah. I could be completely wrong. No, but it's going to be a lot more valuable than it will be in heat 2, so Nold should be fairly happy with that. As Pennington, like you said, is just starting to struggle a little bit. It's kind of the opposite of what we saw at Bathurst. He didn't quite get pole, but managed to set some really good lap times during the race. And oh, he's really, really struggling now. He could possibly lose out to Kos, which is going to be huge for the Pro-Am Championship. As I didn't even notice, this is the white flag lap.
Yeah, these races do go by very quick. Yeah, this would be a pretty big move here from Kos, albeit he's got a big championship lead over Pennington. He can play the long game, does Kos. Doesn't necessarily need this place, and he's not going to go for it. He knows that Wolfson's too far back himself. There's a little bit of a look in the background. I think that's Godestad going for Afonso. They're somehow being able to catch up to the back of this. But out in the lead is now going to be 6 races from 7 for Gabriel Salomon. And he's going to be looking for a 100% record in the A finals as well later on. Out to Motorsport Black once again on top in the heats. A little bit of anger, it seemed like, between a couple of the drivers. Top 12 get through, and the 12th place driver was Mads Jensen. Tobias Olsen with that off at the chicane, enough to just push him out, but at least for him, he will be on pole position for the B final.
Yeah, like you said, when they all kind of fell out of that 12th place gap, it just kind of, I think it was around 2 seconds that they were all stuck behind. And you saw at the end there as well, Gordon Marshall losing places to Pedersen as well. He's going to be kicking himself. He'll be starting, I think, 5th in the B final at least. But going into Heat 2 now, I think we're going to have quite a different race than we saw in the first one. I think it's going to be a little bit more chaotic, to be honest. I've got that sinking feeling.
Michael Yanni on pole position. It's 3 Apex cars in the top 3. Yanni, Balicki and Thompson. Then it's Rudinja lining up in 4th place, last season's champion. Nick Madsen, season 1 champion. And Roger Christiansen, who I think was season 3 champion. Philip Hammer was champion last season in the Pro-Ams. Then it is Pro-Am driver currently, Joey Pedrick. Gareth Higgins in 9th place and Carl Frederick Hersaug rounding out the top 10. There's Mokes, Quattrop, Bumi, Kaleo, Asfalg, Pedersen, Sproul, Ergo, Koopmans, Bjorkland, Horg, Mordecleve, Horn, Van Pertz and Moldovan. Thank you to Nick Madsen, who took a while to get onto the grid there, which just about gave me enough time to go through that entire grid. Yanni then from the pole position. Let's see if he can improve on his PESC rival Bernardo Farrio's results in race 1. Away we launch then for Heat 2 of the evening, and it's an easy start for all 3 of the Apex cars. There's not going to be any changes there. Pretty solid as well from Leon Rudinja. Just slot into 4th place, and the top 5 all go nice and peacefully through the first few corners. Even Nick Madsen going single file, and actually Christensen was able to get ahead of Madsen and up into 5th position. But side by side further back, Gareth Higgins under pressure from Joey Pedrick. Also an Olympus car of Scott Mokes trying to make a bit of progress through the S's, but now they are pretty much all alongside, apart from a little battling near the back as they start thinking about the back straight coming up.
Moldovan really had to keep his foot in there, as I think that's Moldacleve he's battling with, who was nearly onto the grass. He's actually gotten ahead of Moldovan now, as well, they're already starting to lose time to the cars in front. Not sure that's the best idea, but either way, one man who is already creating a nice gap is Michael Yanni at the front. Half a second already on this first lap is a pretty good gap, but the cars behind obviously going to be gaining in that slipstream. About a 1/10 of a second, I think it's worth, down this back straight, as there is Luis Balicki under pressure, and that's a send from Nick Madsen. Didn't quite work out there. I think that's Christensen who he was trying to go for a move on, but Madsen really eager to get past, as Christensen on this first lap you can see has already just lost touch with the first 4 cars, and Madsen is going to be eager to get past, and that is aggressive defending from Christensen again on this first lap. Now onto lap 2, Christensen eager to keep on to that 5th place, but Madsen, the over-under as we head up the hill into turn 3, he's just going to have to sit behind. And while Madsen will be kicking himself that he didn't get that move done, and there's already a second gap between Rudinja and Christensen. They really need to get the foot down. They do not want to lose touch with the leaders.
No, yeah, Madsen very aggressive down into the chicane, but 2 veterans of the series keeping it, I think, fairly clean through most of that. Hersaug is under big pressure from Scott Mokes at the moment, albeit Mokes was unable to get a move done initially. These front guys gradually spreading out. It's going to be so tricky to break that apex hold of the top 3. They're all going to be helping each other out. Leon Rudinja trying to do something about it. He managed to do something about it last season, managed to beat the likes of Michael Yanni and Parker White to the overall title, beating those drivers. And it is very much deja vu for him in this race with 3 Apex cars ahead of him. Here is Mokes trying to gain places. Oh, there's been a crash on the straights. Before they even get to the corner, Ben Pedersen is involved, and Leon Erger is also involved.
Honestly, I'm just going to have a guess that someone moved over. Is that 3 wide they're going? Oh, that's just move after move after move and contacts, and that just ended in tears for both of them. And that's not sure who that was who was coming steaming past, who nearly got taken out. That must have been clenching for Van Put there, but just managed to make it through. And wow, that's just what happens. And I said this race would be chaotic. I did say it, and well, there's your first evidence that, well, we're 3 minutes in and that's already been a very odd crash. That's just what happens when drivers go 3 wide, too aggressive on each other, and bish bash bosh, they both end up in the wall and out of this race. And well, they've got a lot of work to do in that B final. Of course, they still have one more chance, but starting from the back of the B final is not the most ideal situation, although they still have a chance. But battle between the two Apex Academy drivers, Thompson and Balicki for second place. Who is going to have the bragging rights of, oh, I'm the best Apex Academy driver? No, I'm the better one. Well, so far, Lewis Balicki seems to be winning that battle at the moment. Thompson just staying behind, and Quattrop and Buemi as well, battling it out for 11th and 12th.
Oh, no,
and
it's almost
Quattrop
up to
has actually
Quattrop.
dropped down. He's had an incident there. I think he's got back on. I think he just went off onto the grass. But did they really need to battle for 11th and 12th? They were already secure. Not quite sure that was the smartest idea from them two. But hey, every point counts. And let's take a look at what happened.
Yeah, I think they wanted to get away from Mokes, who was looming in the background in 13th position. It was Buemi on the inside. May have been a bit of netcode actually between the two of them. And Quattrop skating across the grass. Not been a great season for Quattrop. He's a very talented driver, was taking part a couple of seasons ago. And is usually at the front of the prams, but had a couple of setbacks so far this season. And missing out on the top 12 in this heat would be another one of them. Wasn't Thompson as Olympus driver. However, there is another Thompson, I think. No, hang on. Maybe there isn't another Thompson. I thought there was. I think it was Pedersen who was involved earlier on, I believe, Dean. Here is a change of position. Patrick, oh, this is Thompson. This is the other Thompson. There you go. I found them eventually. Goes up into second place, gets past his teammates. Leon Rudinger wasn't able to capitalize on it, and that seemed very, very polite. As you say, Aaron, very sensible.
Yeah, I think they both understand that. They both kind of, you know, crashing on your first race in Apex Racing Academy wouldn't be the best start to your career with them at all. So just taking it a little bit easy. And well, Thompson seems to have the better pace than Balicki right now. But since they both are now teammates, I imagine they will try and use the slipstream on each other to keep themselves second and third. And of course, that would make it an Apex Racing 1, 2, and 3 in the Apex Racing League. So yeah, a bit of a nice little crossword there, I guess. But Rudinger just chilling in 4th place right now. Doesn't really look too fast to get ahead of the guys ahead. I think now that they're going to be working as a team, not really much Rudinger can do in these next 4 minutes. As Michael Yanni there just dipping a couple wheels onto the grass. He's looked the absolute favourite in this race so far. A second gap to Thompson behind. But Thompson actually has kept that gap on this lap. So we could see Thompson close in within the next few laps. And that bodes well for him going into the A final.
Patrick Thompson has the Olympus on top of his profile picture. I did not realise that.
He does.
So, hey, maybe it is. Maybe I think he was part of Olympus. It was only I think it was only 3 hours ago actually that I changed his team name from Olympus to Apex. So I really ought to remember. So you're absolutely right, Dean. But yeah, getting the call up to Apex Racing Academy, and we'll be doing races with them for the foreseeable, and might even turn into a full team drive. You can see a team drive just ahead of him in the form of Michael Yanni, and that is where he aspires to be. And yeah, if he sticks with the academy, would not be surprised if he's in the PES qualifiers later this year, which would be an absolutely huge deal for him if he was able to get into that top level of iRacing events. It's fairly clean at the moment between these guys. At the moment, we've got no AMs going through. It looks like our top AM driver from Heat 1 was Gordon Marshall in 15th place. This time, our top AM is Kim-Andre Bjorklund in 15th position. So no one's getting particularly close in that class. And instead, it's Scott Moak still just occupying that coveted 12th place, albeit he has just got past James Buemi. So those ones in 11th and 12th. Quattrop, after his off earlier on, still a bit detached.
Yeah, I think Quattrop at this point just wants to stay in 13th and, well, just get that grid position for the B final, as he's got quite a bit of a gap to Buemi in front. 1.4 seconds, I believe it is, between them, and there's quite a sizable gap, although it has just come down a little bit and then gone up again. It's sort of changing every lap. I think Quattrop has decent pace, but yeah, just unfortunately got caught out in that incident. And Quattrop as well has Koopmans to worry about behind. Koopmans isn't too far behind and could pip him in these final few laps if he's not careful. and that will hurt his chances in the B final. But I think we'll see the likes of Quattro get through anyway. He's looked fairly decent at the moment. But like I said before, the AM drivers, it's going to be tough for them today. It's going to be really, really hard for them to get into the A final. And I will be very, very surprised if we do see voice crack. I will be very surprised if we see a AM driver in the A final today, as Bjorklund just loses another place to Moldovan and is now down into 16th place.
Yes. Moldovan up 10 places from his race start. Now, I don't think he had a qualifying ban. Not sure why Bogdan started from the back. I feel like he may have started from the back actually at the Bathurst as well, so he has had a tough time of it the last couple of rounds. Here comes Bumi. After losing the position on the last lap. Got back alongside. They've only got one more lap to go after this, and they're giving Quattrop a little bit of hope here. The gap down to 1.3 seconds, was over 2 seconds at one point. And if they batter into turn 1, then he is going to be getting interested as the Frenchman driver, but he does the right thing, Bumi, stays behind, and they should still be able to batter in the chicane, and as long as they don't get contact, they'll be able to keep 11th and 12th. Apologies, Quattrop is not French, he is Danish. The Danish driver will be getting close to the back of them by the end.
Yeah, I think it's still just a little bit too much. Well, I mean, there's every opportunity. Oh, that was a drift and a half from Mokes. I was just about to say there's every opportunity for these guys to bottle it, either by crashing into each other or someone making a mistake. And Mokes was absolutely drifting it there. And really good car control, though. Managed to keep it on. And, well, that's what you need in this car. Good car control. Otherwise, you will end up in Barry R. And we've seen that a couple of times this race already. But Quattrop is about a second and a half behind. So, yeah, I think these guys are pretty much free to fight into this final corner. This final chicane. As Bremy chooses to go around the outside, he has to be super brave on the brakes, which he is. He might just be able to keep it as we head into that final few corners. But it's Michael Yanni who takes Heat 2 victory tonight. Unsurprisingly, he looked really, really quick the entire race. And Bremy just about losing 11th place, but still manages to get through to the A final, and Quattrop will be kicking himself, and that's a huge send in to turn 1 for Bremy, and actually blow up the engine. So that's an expensive repair there. But yeah, just managed to miss out on 11th place, but was a fairly clean battle between Mokes and Bremy. And well, I said at the start of this that it would be chaotic, and well, it wasn't. It was rather clean, actually.
Yeah, I think it's certainly at the front. There was a bit of nothing could change basically. It just stayed the same. Everyone was glued to their positions, I think. I know we had a change for second and third, but it was a bit of a choreographed second and third place. There wasn't much of a fight. So here's our B final then. I think this one will be a bit more aggressive. Also not up top. Then it's Quattrop, Pedersen and Moldovan. That's a very competitive top 4. Marshall made up good places in his heat. Is in 5th. Then it's Koopmans, Young, Bjorklund, watch out for Glenn Key, 8K IRA 2 member, Hawk, Langberg and Kaleo in 12th place. Then it's Perry, Asparg, Timberlicky, Samuel Sproul, Molliord, Muldercleve, Agard, watch out for Nikolai actually, he's been quick this season. Then it's Tom Van Put, Simon Andre Livingston, Leon Erger, watch out for him, he'll gain a few places, Palomino, Horn, Gottlieb Volta, he's been quick tonight, Pedersen and Pereira in 27th place. Few drivers are going to be making up a lot of places, but Tobias Olsen is revving up his engine and we are underway for our B final. And the former F3 champion trying to hold off the lead into turn 1, but I'm not sure if he's going to be successful. It's already in the incident in the background. Olsen is going to lead through the first couple of corners. It was Muldercleve and Agard who I believe got involved in one another. But it's Olsen leading Quattrop, Pedersen, Moldovan and Marshall, the top 5, all the same order.
Yeah, for now, and as you said, it's going to be a little bit more elbows out this race, I think, and we've already seen that off the start. Some drivers already nearly dipping their wheels onto the grass. It's that 3 wide, and that's contact already, and that is Asphalt going over the gravel, and, well, going 2 wide into that corner is death enough, and there's another car off into the barrier. That's Walter. That's going to be his chances of getting into the A final pretty much over, and now he's just going to have to clean up whoever ends up out of this B final. But yeah, I mean, going 3 wide into, I think it's turn Oh, there's so many corner names here. It's so difficult to keep up. But going into that corner, 3 wide is not a good idea, let alone 2 wide. So, yeah, unfortunate. But here's a battle for, I believe this is for 3rd place, Moldovan. Oh, that's an aggressive one, going on 2nd as well on the inside of Pedersen. That was a very, very sneaky move. And, well, he managed to make it work. Fair play. And, well, he's up to 2nd. That was a very, very impressive move for Moldovan. Could have ended in tears, but fair play. I'm staggered, actually. That was really impressive.
Yeah, I don't think it was even deliberate. I think he just realised that had to get out the way, and now there's contact behind them.
Big
And that's a
contact,
spin.
that's Marshall.
That is a spin for Glenn Key, has gone round. And after a really strong start for Key, he gained 3 places in the first couple of corners, was well on track for getting into the top 6. But unfortunately, one of our highest I-rated drivers has had that incident, might well have damage. And so, now into the top 6 is Aidan Young. He's only up 1 place from his very start, but the American driver in that coveted 6th place. These top guys making a bit of a break for it in these early stages.
Yeah, not surprisingly, these top 4 of well, we kind of thought going into this race that they'd be the main ones up the front, but it's just going to be a battle for 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and etc., etc. And well, we could maybe see at least one AM go in today. I honestly thought that we wouldn't see any because of Glenn Key and how impressive he's been. And oh, that's an aggressive defense from Olsen and Moldovan. Well, we saw what move he did on the last lap, but could not pull any tricks this time, and just has to stay in 2nd place. Is Pedersen now trying to go around the outside, but there's nothing doing there. We're going to take a look at a replay of that move that Moldovan did, and well, I was expecting him to run into the back of Pedersen here, but Sam, I have no idea how he did this.
No, this was impressive. He managed to find some sort of line between the 2 cars and got up into 2nd place and got it stopped nicely as well. I think Pedersen will be absolutely kicking himself. I guess Pedersen was a bit early on the brakes in order to avoid Olsen. He just did not anticipate the attack from behind, and that is why he's currently running in 3rd position. With Albert Quatchop right on his tail. Quatchop just with the fastest clean lap of the race so far. Not necessarily clean lap overall, not necessarily fastest lap overall, however. And yeah, this is still your top 3 in this B final race.
Would not be surprised if it just stayed like this for the rest of the B final. But only thing worrying me is the man in front of us right now, Moldovan. He looks like he wants to win this race and get that 1 extra coveted grid spot in the A final. Look at the aggressive moves around the outside into the chicane. We've seen this move work a couple times. Olsen has absolutely nowhere to go. Olsen now stuck on the outside. Pedersen's going to try and follow through. Moldovan now has the better line as we go around the final corner, but Olsen just actually eking ahead, and there's Pedersen now trying to steal 2nd place. And look at Quattrop as well, seeing where he can pick up the pieces. Moldovan might lose 2nd here and might also lose 4th. Quattrop trying to go around the outside. Pedersen as well. Pedersen now under pressure from Quattrop. The 2 Danes going at it. This is incredible racing for literally just a couple grid spots.
Yeah, like they're not safe from the drivers behind either. I mean, Kaleo is only 2.5 seconds behind these drivers. I am surprised they're being quite so aggressive. It's fair enough, they want to have a bit of fun out there. Be absolutely right, considering the risk that they're taking. The rewards are not level to that. And it's still Gordon Marshall in that 6th place. Young, by the way, got past Marshall a couple of laps ago, and I'm not sure if we mentioned that, but Young now up into 5th position, and Marshall is occupying that final spot in the top 6. Then it's Kaleo. Erga on the comeback. Emil Koopman's not with a strong race for him. And then Perry and Balicki rounding out the top 11. Here comes Moldovan and deciding to use the clutch. I don't know if he's low on fuel or something. That'd be a bit of an odd thing to be in a sprint race. But yeah, using the clutch extensively heading into the chicane.
Honestly, I think that's just him telling himself, okay, I'm not going to go for the move this time. But yeah, very, very weird. I don't know why he couldn't just lift off there. Maybe he is low on fuel, who knows. But this is the battle for 6th place. This is going to be an interesting one all the way to the end. We've got Kaleo, who has my favourite profile picture I've ever seen in sim racing. I do love the cat pick. I don't know about anyone else, but it does make me laugh. But Marshall is going to be under a lot of pressure now. He's the only AM driver who has a sliver of a chance of getting into this A final. And, well, we've seen Gordon have some good pace, but unfortunately, I don't know if it's going to be enough because Kaleo looks like he wants it just as bad. And it's not the easiest way to defend around this track. Honestly, it is quite a difficult track to defend from. Even defending in the inside, if the driver around the outside
the lead.
gets a better line,
Moldovan's
it
in
can
the
really
lead.
bite you. But yeah, Moldovan up into the lead.
Yeah, the two of them absolutely dead level currently. And who is going to get ahead? Yeah, and
I think Olsen got back ahead.
yeah, just about being able to edge back ahead. Albeit, no, Moldovan's now got a setback and has dropped
that's
down
a
the
big
order.
one.
And I think Olsen and Moldovan have collided going through the penultimate corner.
Just for a couple grid spots. I said it. I did say it. That is... was it worth it? I don't know, honestly, why they were fighting that hard, but here's what happened. And, just a slight tap from Moldovan. Olsen still on the track, and a little bit of a wiggle and forces them both off the track, and that's a huge impact for both of them. And that's pretty much going to be their days over.
Two guys, two former champions. Hang on, did Moldovan win a championship? No, Moldovan's the runner-up in a championship. Olsen, two-time champion in the F3 series. Yeah. Moldovan did win the LMP2 teams title, to be fair, actually. So he is a teams champion, is Moldovan. But yeah, you're absolutely right. It was for nothing. That's a real shame to see neither of them get through to the A final. Means now that Marshall's up into 4th place. He's a lot more safe. He's ahead of Kaleo. Ergen now up 16 places to 6th. And Koopmans still 1 place down from where he started. And really everyone down to Tiago Pereira has got a chance in this race. Pereira himself up 16 places, up into 11th. But he's only about 4 seconds off the top 6 at the moment. I think these top 2, after seeing the mess that just happened in front of them, I think Pedersen and Quattro are probably going to be the most passive drivers on this circuit.
Probably. I mean, they've got a huge gap behind. They have literally zero reason to be this aggressive. And yeah, it was just a bit silly from both of them. Olsen and Moldovan just were being far too aggressive with each other for literally 2 grid slots. They're going to be starting in the back 6 in the A final either way. So yeah, I mean, I know as a racing driver, you want to be ahead. You want to say that you won. Just have that extra stat and of course be 1 position ahead, but I just don't know if it was worth being that aggressive from both of them. Moldovan kind of honestly, I think I'll put that one down to a racing incident. They were both just being far too aggressive with each other, and it just ended in tears for both of them, and that's going to be the end of their days.
Might be a change for the lead coming up. There is a change for the lead. Here they go. And this is almost a big carbon copy. Well, this is nicer so far, but you know, you can start off with these passive battles and they get a bit more aggressive the more longer and longer that they go on. And they have got a bit of a gap as well to the cars behind. Pedersen marginally ahead of Quattro still. Bjorklund and Asfalg just getting past Bjorklund for 12th position. The field spread is not big. I mean, it's only 9 seconds from 1st down to 13th, considering it feels like the midfield has been fairly chaotic in this race. It demonstrates just how chaotic the fronts have been. They haven't necessarily been that much faster and been able to pull away that far, but still these two are 2 seconds at least clear of 3rd position. And we wait to see if there's going to be any more changes. At the moment, all the guys just on the fringes of the top 6, not doing a whole lot. Maybe Kaleo's just back... Well, Marshall's just backing up Kaleo, who's backing up into Ergo, who's backing up into Koopmans. But Koopmans not quite close enough right now to do a whole lot with it. Still 0.6 of a second behind with 4 minutes to go.
I wouldn't be surprised if we saw them all just work together. I mean... Yeah, we've mentioned this so many times, but it literally is just a couple grid spots. It's not that deep. And, well, speaking of deep, there goes Pedersen going incredibly deep into the last corner. That might give Quattro a sniff into, can I get the lead now? As Balicki up into 10th place. I think something has happened to Bjorklund as well. No,
Our
him and
leaders side by
Asfalg
side
are still
as well.
Again, they're still battling this hard. I don't get why.
No.
And they're both off of the track.
No.
That's
It's not worth it.
That's a spin.
Quatchup
It's
does
just
the
not
full
worth it,
360.
man.
He might still get through Quatchup, but he's got a lot of work to do, and now the top 6 are all with each other.
God.
Quatchup cannot keep it in a straight line. He's trying to hold on Tim Perry
His
now.
tyres are gone.
And I was saying how the longer the battle goes on, the more risk there is. And Quatchup now going to have to push 100% in order to catch up. He's got a good chance, but we've now got Aidan Young who leads this race. Michael Pedersen is still in 2nd position. He only lost the 1 place out of that. Marshall, despite doing nothing, has somehow got himself up into 3rd. And Kaleo and Erga being patient in 4th and 5th. And Koopmans is now in the final advancing spot.
Well, I mean, is it going to be Young versus Pedersen now? Pedersen, have you learnt your lesson? The answer is no. He's going to try and stick a nose up the inside. What is Young going to do here? I don't think so. Well, Pedersen thinks he can take the lead again. And Pedersen, after witnessing death after death today, he's just thought, yeah, now I'm gonna go for the win anyway. I don't care. I want to win this race. But now you've got Marshall who can win, Kaleo who can win, Erga as well, who, by the way, is up 17 places. 17. I did say earlier that even if you start at the back, something crazy can happen in this B final, which means that you just get through. And wow, Erga's proving that. He's up 17 places and he's up into 5th. He's comfortably, at the moment, able to get through. And I think Quatchup is just too far back now to realistically do anything. He's burnt up his tyres and is going to be under pressure more from Perry than he is going to be putting pressure on Koopmans. But yeah, what a weird B final we've had. We've had how many changes for the lead have we had?
Yeah, I think we've had what 4 different winners, 4 different leaders, sorry, so far in this race. Liam slipped diff saying not a lot of strategists in this race. Yeah, I mean it's like they've all got Charles Leclerc's race engineer right now in this race because Pedersen has ended up in the lead despite being involved in incidents himself. Young not doing a whole lot on it. Young's, to be fair, being one of the most mature drivers in this race, despite the fact that he's one of the youngest. And now everyone's separated by about half a second in the top 6. Quatchup is catching up. Quatchup has gained close to a second on this lap to the cars ahead, but they're not close enough ahead to really cost each other time. I said a second actually. It was only 0.3 on Koopmans. It was over half a second on Erga, but it's not going to happen at the moment for Albert Quatchup, especially considering everyone's going to have the draft on each other ahead of him, and he needs something to kick off out of his control in order to recover a spot in the A final.
I don't think any of the top 6 are going to be battling anyway. I think they've all seen what has happened a few times in this race. They're all like, okay, let's just calm down. We're going to cruise to the end. I think on that last lap as well, Young could have gone for the move to the lead, but just didn't. He thought better of it. And, well, yeah, like fair play. As you said, Young being one of the youngest drivers and just wants to get through, which is, yeah, fair play. We've seen, what, Olsen, Moldovan, Quatchup, all of them having just, well, getting into the A final, handed them on the plate. They have the pace, but just not making the best decisions long term. And, well, unfortunately, Quatchup has gained a lot of time on this lap, but it's not going to be enough as Pedersen rounds the final corner. And after all the wars that he's been through, he's going to win this B final. Young manages to get through, and Gordon Marshall as well manages to get through as an amateur driver. That's going to be huge for him in the championship. And, well, only one amateur driver getting through in the end. Kaleo getting through, Erga up 17 places, and Koopmans just about managing to get through. He will be starting last, but, well, fair play to our top 6 drivers, mostly. They all managed to keep it on the track, and, well, some other drivers are going to be absolutely kicking themselves.
Yeah, really kicking themselves. And I think that's Marshall's 3rd A final out of 4 races. He had a bit of a mare back at Bathurst, but he's really been very strong this season as Gordon Marshall, and he'll be at the top of the Amateur Championship, I think, after tonight, regardless of how his A final goes. And yeah, hopefully everyone who's watching along, thank you very much for watching along. hopefully you enjoyed that race, because that was yeah, pretty intense stuff and classic B final action. When we hosted the F3 Championship a few seasons ago, I think it was the season that you won the title actually, Aaron. The B finals were crazy, where constantly stuff was happening in the final couple of corners or final couple of laps, and that reminded me very much of that. Nick Horn mentioning P15. Yeah, well done, Nick. That was a pretty good one. I was watching you during the race, and yeah, that was a nice effort for that one. I think up 10 places from his race starts, and some good points earned. We're currently in the 3-minute warm-up, and I will give a quick shout-out to Apex Racing Academy, the title sponsor for this series. And of course, with the new official series coming out this past couple of weeks, you very much need setups and data packs in order to get up to speed and get up to your prime level for the next 12 weeks of iRacing. And Apex Racing Academy is definitely the place to go for that, whether it be these Porsche Cup cars, whether it be GT3 cars, prototypes, touring cars, single-seaters. Apex Racing Academy have it covered by some of the best drivers in iRacing, covering the data packs, including Michael Yanni, who is in this series, but also former world champion Peter Bayman. You've got F4 champion Luke McCohen, two-time British F4 champion Luke McCohen, and many others. So do check out Apex Racing Academy in order to get yourself a subscription.
Just going back to what you were talking about with the B finals, and well, having been in some of them myself after not having the best heat races or either getting penalties. Yeah, the B finals are oddly the ones where it genuinely can be the most scary, because you know one mistake could be just it. Like you can just quit the session after that, basically. And I think the one that springs to mind was Fuji, where I had a quali ban, and also I had to start from the pits. And if anyone has had like that type of penalty at Fuji, knows that Fuji is the longest pit lane in the world with the shortest, like the smallest pit limiter. So I had to slowly crawl my way down the pits, and once I came out I was about 10 seconds behind, and somehow still managed to get through to the A final. And then I won the A final because everyone died into turn 1. Genuinely, I was last, and coming out of turn 1 I was up to about 7th from about 26th. That's how crazy these things can be, and that's why you just don't give up. Anything can happen. You have to just keep going, because someone might crash. There could be a huge pileup. You just don't know. You have to take those chances if you're willing to go for those championships. And we see some of the drivers today and in the last few races doing that, and that's the type of mentality which will get you championships.
Yeah, that resilience is one of the absolutely most fundamental parts in order to yeah, go for those titles. As here is the grid then. It's a big one, 30 cars for this A final. Salomon on pole position, looking for 4 from 4 in A finals. Yanni, who was runner-up last week, lines up in 2nd place. Farrier, who's going to be aggressive, in 3rd. Then it's Thompson, Nold, Balicki, Pennington top of the pro-ams, Rudinja defending champion, Koss, Christiansen, Wolfson, Madsen, Votsa, Hammer, Afonso, Higgins, Godestad, Pedrick, Lazarus, Hersaug, Hereford, Mokes, Jensen, Bumi, watch out for James actually, Michael Pedersen, watch out for him as well, Aiden Young, our only AM in the field, Gordon Marshall, Valtteri Kallie, Leon Erger, who was outside the top 20 at the start of the B final, and Emil Koopmans running out the 30 cars. Everyone is on the grid, and we are moments away from getting underway here for the A final at Road Atlanta, round 4 of the championship, and away we launch. It is a strong start for our pole sitter. Yanni immediately trying to cover off Farrier. They're all making a beeline to the inside of the circuit. That might just open it up for Farrier, who's going to send it on the outside. There's almost contact between 2nd and 3rd, but that is perfect driving from the Brazilian, who is up into 2nd place right on the start. Behind him, he's got a line of Apex cars, but still Nicholas Nold in that 5th position, just breaking it up slightly as they go through the S's for the first time.
Oh, there was a bit of contact there in the background. Yeah, that was Rudinja going off the track, and some drivers just being really, really aggressive on this A final. This is their last chance, of course, today to pick up those last crucial points in the championship. There's Michael Yanni going for a move on the inside of Farrier. Farrier just now has to sit behind, but all this battling is just going to allow Salomon just to, well, break away, and it's not the smartest thing to do. We've seen it a couple of times today, and, well, you look behind, the absolute cluster of cars coming out of the second right-hander, and they all now go down this long straight all the way down to the final chicane, one of the most anticipating straights in all of sim racing. And, well, there's Farrier under pressure from that's Thompson as well, but Farrier just about managing to hold off for now. And Farrier having a good start initially, but just really, I don't know if he just got a really bad exit and Michael Yanni was able to sneak up the inside, but a very weird place to get overtaken. But Farrier still in third from where he started, and, well, Salomon has already got the start that he wanted, about half a second ahead of Michael Yanni.
Yeah, I think Farrier would be frustrated with that one. He did a really good job into Tire 1, picking the right lane and then pulling off the overtake, and then only to make a mistake at the end of the S's will be annoying. He's continuing to lose speed. He'll be very vulnerable on the back straight, considering that he's lost completely the draft to Michael Yanni ahead. So still Salomon leading the way. Top of the Pro-Am drivers is Pennington, as there goes the move. Farrier's back underneath. Oh, and now there's contact. Farrier just opened up the steering a bit too much, and the Brazilian with a lot of work to recover any decent points tonight.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on with Farrier there. He just looked really, really slow. And I don't know if he got damaged or just lacked confidence on that first lap. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, obviously they're going to run slightly more fuel in this race than they did in the heats. Maybe that's unsettled the car. I'm just trying to spitball here. I'm not quite sure. He just did not look quick at all after those first few corners. And, well, either damage or lack of confidence. Either way, Farrier is all the way down in 15th and has got a lot of work to do over these next 16 minutes. But the top two have absolutely broken away from the rest of them. But this is what happened to Farrier. And there was a bit of a send from Thompson.
Yeah,
he was just...
And then... I mean, Thompson's basically on the curb there, right?
Yeah. I don't know. It's just they both kind of... I mean, I would put that more on Farrier. Could have left him a lot more room. Yeah, that's a bit of a weird one. But I'm just still lost at why Farrier was so slow. And even now, he's still losing time. He's lost a place to Goddestad now. Something is seriously wrong with Farrier. He's gotten the place back, though. But he's just lacking pace. And, there's another incident for Farrier. He's gone off, and that's going to be pretty much the end of his day at the same place. And, yeah, he's out of this one, and that's going to be the end of Bernardo Farrier's day. Another replay of what happened coming into... This is the end of the S section. Is it just a mistake all by himself? We've seen him be slow through the S's. Coming up and, yeah, just got way too out of shape, and... There's something seriously wrong with that car, and possibly tries to go for the move down the inside, and it's almost a carbon copy, isn't it?
Yeah, very similar. Just not leaving enough room on the outside of the circuit. There's also been a furious battle between the top two. Yanni briefly led this race, but he was never able to get completely ahead. In that battle that we had with Thompson and Farrier, Nicholas Nolde was able to get past the pair of them. It's up into third position and starting to catch up to these guys. He was 2 seconds behind at one point, but he was able to gain by 7/10 on that last time round. A couple more laps where the top two are battling, and Nolde will be involved. And with no team affiliations out of the top two drivers, I think any one of them could win this race. Salomon going for his 4th win in a row. Nolde has been runner-up a couple of times. Yanni was runner-up last time out at Bathurst as well. They really do want to end the Danish drivers' run.
Well, we've seen that Yanni can have the pace on many of these drivers. He has good race pace, whereas Salomon is just an absolute weapon when it comes to defending. But, crucially, Michael Yanni is not going for the overtake. But Nicholas Nolde is still catching, so it could be a battle between the top three. And we've mentioned this a couple of times before this season, that being in third is always the awkward place to be, because you don't really want to get involved in the battle between the top two, as it can literally just end within minutes. As well, if you decide to go through wide around a track like this, then yeah, just you may as well pray to the iRacing gods that netcode is on your side and hope that the other two drivers are very, very cooperative with you. And also, a couple of our drivers that made it through from the B final, a couple of them, like Erga as well. We saw, I think he was one of the cars that went off on lap 1. Marshall is now battling with Buemi as well, all the way down to 25th. They've kind of broken away from the rest of the pack, unfortunately. And there's an incident for Jensen, Pedrick, and I think Koopmans. That's a big crash, and that is Pedrick right in the middle of the circuit. Not sure what happened there. I think that's at the end of the S's coming out onto the track, and that's a car without a rear wing. I think that's Buemi.
Yeah, that would make sense that he was involved in that. There's Jensen and there's Pedrick just behind. Jensen loses it all by himself, and Pedrick is the unlucky party.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they got slammed. Oh, that's a good avoidance there. From, what's that, Vidinja? Yeah, it was. I don't know why.
I think it was, yeah.
I don't know why Vidinja's so far down. I know he had a bit of a bad start, but I didn't think he was that far down the order. Awful day so far for the defending champion. Out in the lead, still having to go defensive is Salomon, and still Nolda is closing in. This is a fantastic train of cars who have been glued to one another for the past few laps. This is Wolfson, who's just trying to hold on to whatever he can against Roger Christiansen. Unless, actually, has he just made that move? Wolfson, no, he is still defending against Christiansen with Madsen in the middle of this, and at the back of the chain, Gareth Higgins in 14th place.
Yeah, this is the lovely midfield battles that we always see, especially at tracks like this, and they go nearly side by side into this first right-hander. Madsen has looked pretty quick today, but has just gotten himself caught up in traffic too many times. And I think it was Christiansen who he got stuck behind in the first heat, and he's still stuck behind him. He can't seem to make his way past. Maybe Christiansen has got his own defensive tactics that he's inherited from Gabriel Solomon. But he's defending the inside this time. The outside line can work, but you have to be super brave on the brakes, and Madsen's done exactly that. That was really, really brave on the brakes from Nick Madsen, and he's got himself up into 9th place and has Wolfson in his sights, just about 8/10 ahead of him, as the top two still not changing for position, but crucially now Nold is right in this. So Yanni so far hasn't really gone for a move, and I think he's just being patient and waiting until more the end of the race, which I think is more the smart thing to do. No point risking, as you mentioned earlier on, Sam, that the longer the battle goes on, the more risky it gets.
Thanks to another one of our sponsors, by the way, VRS. VRS, of course, delivering their hardware with their pedals, with their wheelbase, and their wheel rim. And so if you want to get your sim racing equipment upgraded, do check out VRS.racing or apexracingsim.com in order to get your VRS equipment. And of course, if you're based in the UK and especially in the Midlands, do visit the Apex Racing Sim Centre to try out the VRS rigs for yourself. Here is Yanni, and he has got alongside a couple of times, but this is as good a chance as he has had all day long. He'll be patient, well, Yanni. He's not going to be over-aggressive on this move. He's just about ahead. There is contact between the two of them. What can Nolda do against these two drivers? Just can't quite get underneath them. They're trying to get underneath, however, is Salomon, who is alongside. Yanni trying to power and get some better straight line speed as they cross the line to start lap 8 of this Road Atlanta A final. But as we see it so often in these 50-50 battles, it is Gabriel Salomon who always seems to come out on top, and he is still the leader at the halfway stage of the race.
Really is the Danish Minister of Defence, isn't he? He just, no matter what he does or what happens, Salomon just always manages to get back in the lead, and that takes some real driver skill. And, well, Sam, I'm going to hand it over to you for reasons I think you know why.
I don't know what's going on with James Fuming there. I think he's had enough. Already had a crash previously. Oh, what's this? He's already lost his rear wing. And yeah, maybe he's realised that he can't brake into that corner without a rear wing, and just thought best chance for me to avoid people is cutting across the inside. Yanni almost alongside, Norda's got to start doing something here, because if he waits too long, Thompson and Balicki are going to be playing under pressure. Also, Igor Koss has got past Luke Pennington, the top two in the Pro-Ams, and Koss has just made that move, but Pennington's back underneath. They were very close to contact, and super fortunate that there was no latency between the cars, because they're almost merged into one another for a moment there. Koss has got clear, and considering that he's the championship leader, that is exactly what he needed. And Pennington, after looking so good in qualifying, it has been a strong night for him. However, if he can't take off points tonight, you question when can he?
Yeah, he got pole, and yeah, he's all the way down in 7th, and just hasn't seemed to have the race pace that he would have wanted, unfortunately. But it does bode well for the future, I guess, that he does have the pace in him, but just needs to be a little bit more consistent in the race. As you can see there, he's just not quite hitting the apexes, whereas the guys behind are. They're hitting their lines exactly. Yeah, you see there, Koss and Pennington both just struggling a little bit, as they have a huge gap to Balicki in front. But is Michael Yanni going to go for the move? He is down the inside. He's going to try. But Salomon hasn't really ever lost the lead, willingly anyway. That's very brave from Michael Yanni, but obviously Salomon keeping a nose in. Is that going to have the inside line? And oh no, Nold, don't try that. He tried to make it through wide, but there was just no space for him. As Salomon now crosses the line, there's nothing between them. Yanni goes onto the grass. Nold just has to sit back and watch round the outside. Not really the best line through turn 1, as it just puts you off a little bit, and Salomon's going to have the inside line. Yanni's going to try and hold it round the outside and just has to give way, as Nicholas Nold now tries to put pressure on Michael Yanni, but through this S section, there's nowhere at all to go side by side, sensibly anyway, as that's a drift for Gabriel Solomon. He's really pushing everything out of that Porsche Cup car to try and stay ahead, as it's now about a 5-car battle for the lead. The top 5 separated by only about a second. This is incredible racing.
Yeah, we were concerned that it would be a 2-car breakaway, a bit like what we had at Bathurst a couple of weeks ago, but it's been anything but since these two have started fighting. And Yanni's been trying the same move every time, and I think it's the only move he can really pull off. You may call him a little bit uncreative, but what else is he meant to do? He's just got to keep on playing his card there. This time he's not quite as far alongside where he tries to get the cutback. Isn't really a possibility because of the presence of the Impulse Racing driver just behind. Still, Nodda hasn't really been able to do a whole lot with this one. And now there's got the position as well too. Salomon is going to spin across, and he's going to take off surely one of the Apex cars. It is Yanni off the circuit, and Salomon's 100% winning record in the A final is well and truly over. And it might be the bridesmaid so many times this season, Nicholas Nald, who finally breaks his duck and gets back crucial points in the title race.
I think that's a replay if I've ever seen one gonna cut. I need to see that again. I didn't really get a good look at it. I think Salomon just thought the outside was clear and tried to take the racing line, but I think Yanni was still just about there, as that's a slowdown for Nick Madsen there. He's going to lose a huge chunk of positions. Not been a good day for Nick Madsen, and Salomon, I'm surprised he's still going, to be honest. That would have been a huge hit for his Porsche Cup car. But here we go. Here's the replay that we're all waiting to see. Around the final corner, you can see Noel there just trying to put a nose up in there, but couldn't really do anything. And like I said, I just think he thinks the racing line's clear, but they kind of get glued to each other. And he's so lucky. So lucky he didn't collect anyone else there. I'm really curious to see what the stewards will say about that between them two. Wonder if they'll put it down to a racing incident, since sure, Salomon could have given Yanni more room, but round this final corner, you are taking it flat. And in this Porsche Cup car, it is barely flat. And it couldn't really do much about that. And going to be interesting to see what the stewards say. But nevertheless, Gabriel has still got some racing to do, as he's just overtaken Christensen for 7th place. He's going to have to get every point that he can at this point. His teammate his teammate Wolfson, is trying to follow him through. But Christensen just about holding on for now.
A daylight mugging as well from Nick Madsen, I think, there. Managing to get past Botta. Managed to get past middle of the S's. Nice effort from him there. I think Higgins may have got past Afonso in a similar place on this lap as
This is going
well.
to be interesting.
Well, still the battle for the lead is not over and done with. Yanni in 4th position after his collision. Needs to make his way past a couple of these Apex Racing Academy guys. But it is 3 Apex cars versus Nicholas Nold. And still, none of these top 4, remember, it's only been Salomon who's taken an A final victory so far this season. They are all craving one of these victories, and well, one of them is going to do it, you would expect. Let's see who is going to be able to accomplish it. 2 laps to go at Red Atlanta, and Thompson has got himself into a good position to have an attack midway around this lap.
Just going to be interesting to see whether people will focus on track position or just trying to go for the move. Is there going to be any moves on this lap, or will all 4 of them just wait for that final lap, that final opportunity into that final corner? Or, like I said, are they going to favour track position and just try and go for it? I think, like we've seen so far today, I think track position is probably the way to go. And I say this is Nicholas Nold's race to lose. But then again, I think we said that at Watkins Glen, and well, look what happened on the final lap. So, yeah, not going to say too much, but either way, it's going to be a very, very entertaining battle between our top 4. And unfortunate that we can't have Gabriel Salomon in it as well. You've got Igor Kos and Pennington as well, just behind. Just waiting to see if they can pick up any other scraps that these guys leave behind and pick up crucial points in their Pro-Am Championship. But Nold's just pulling away a little bit on this lap, and Thompson not able to be close enough this time round. And coming into the chicane, it's as you were. So, as we head round this corner for the second to last time, it's going to be white flag when Nicholas Nold crosses the line, and we're going to have one more lap of racing to decide who is going to be your first different A-final winner of the season.
I don't know if it's just the turbulence maybe coming off the back of Nold's car, but he's definitely faster than Thompson through the corner side. Thompson could not keep up through the S's. That last time round was fell over 0.4 of a second back going onto the back straight. And if that happens again, there's going to be absolutely no way he can pass Nicholas Nold. But, well, the legs must be getting pretty tight at this point. As a brilliant end to the S's there. Look at the gap, it increased it. He gained about 0.2 of a second. Just in one corner there was Nold. Really attacked the curb nicely. He runs a little bit wide there and gives up 0.5, and he's missed the apex again.
No.
Nicholas Nold had got it sorted with a fantastic run through the S's, but he's got tight in these closing stages. He's going to take the inside line for the kink. It'll be the outside line for the chicane, the line that Salomon has been taking all day long, but powering into the lead for the first time in this A final is Thompson. Nold trying to fight back against him. He's early on the brakes though. He's not going to be able to do anything about this, and it's going to be a last lap maneuver for Patrick Thompson to get his first ever victory in Apex Racing Academy Porsche Cup. He has done it, has
Solomon's
Patrick Thompson on his Apex Racing Academy debut. Nolder in 2nd position will be kicking himself. Balicki and Yanni will be happy with 3rd and 4th, and Salomon with a late incident dropping to the lowly depths of 18th place.
Wow, what a finish we've got. And this is why we love this series. It just, every single time, something unexpected happens. And this is what happens to Salomon. Was it? Oh, it was a very late lunge from, I think it's Christensen. Oh,
maybe, yeah.
I think that's Christensen, yeah. That's going to be a certain penalty for Christensen, as it was just a bit of a silly move, way too late on his part, and came back on the track dangerously and hit Salomon there. And, well, yeah, we all know what Salomon's drop round is going to be now, at least. It's 100% going to be this race, and yeah, you can definitely tell that he is upset, as I wouldn't really blame any of the things that happened today on him. I guess the first incident with Yanni might be, that first one's a difficult one to call, but either way, another spectacular day of racing, and I really did miss this series. In the 1 week we went off, it was a bit sad. My Tuesday was a bit boring, but now we've got it back, and well, I'd say, Sam, it truly delivered.
It really did. Hopefully everyone enjoyed watching along. Got some good comments from Glyn and from Nick. saying that they enjoyed the race, and it really is the best series to watch on the channel, without doubt. So thank you guys for tuning in, and thank you to the driver as well if you're watching back. We're putting on a fantastic show there. Let's have a look at our final race results then for this A final and round 4 of the championship, and it was by just short of a tenth of a second for Patrick Thompson. But Nolder, what a couple of mistakes. He didn't lose it in the final chicane. Once he had the poor double right-hander, that was it. At that point, there was no way he was going to defend from that point onwards. Just ran completely wide after a brilliant lap and a half. It didn't look like the pressure was getting to him whatsoever, but it did on that final lap of the race. Lewis Bilicki with good points in 3rd place. That's Michael Yenny in 4th. Igor Koss with a fantastic result for him, up in 5th place overall as a Pro-Am, ahead of Luke Pennington. There was Wolfson, Madsen, who fought his way up and then down and then back up again. Christiansen, Votter, Hammer, Afonso, Higgins, Goddestad, Lazarus, Rudinger, Mokes and Salomon, of course, the disappointing 18th place. There's Hersaug, Koopmans, Pedersen, Pedrick. Marshall's top of the amateur drivers should take the championship lead in that series as well. Jensen, Herford, Kalie, Bumi and Young in 20th place. I think a couple of others, Farrier and Erger, out of the running. Wonder what could have happened to Farrier, who seemed to never really get going in that final race after looking so good in the heat as well, and was up in 2nd place in the early stages. So far there's no interviews with our drivers, but Aaron, next round of the championship is going to be a fair bit different because we don't have the heats next week. We're going to Interlagos and we're going to actually have just a single 60-minute race. And a couple of seasons ago when we had races like that, it was some of the best action. So I'm curious as to what the racing is going to be in that very different format to these super sprints that we have usually.
Well, I mean, these guys are used to the sort of short format that we're used to. And I think the 60-minute format is really going to be something to watch. And I'm just seeing the replay there. Thompson was very, very lucky to not be collected. Netcode was on his side today. But that race is going to be really, really interesting. 100% is going to be completely different from anything these drivers have experienced in these cars, probably. And yeah, it's going to be... I think we might get some drivers as well. I don't even know if we'll see the normal top guys up there. We might see something similar to what we've seen today. Some other drivers sneaking their way up in there. We might see Pennington come back as well if he improves on this race pace. Could see someone else completely random who just has a good week at Interlagos, who gets on well with longer formats. Who knows what's going to happen in that race. And I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be completely different, like you say. And yeah, we're not going to have any of this crazy sprints where people are constantly fighting. It's going to be a little bit more sensible, a little bit more calm. And, well, who knows? We might even see a little bit of pitch strategy come into it.
Yeah, and last time the drivers struggled so much with just pitting. So they've never done it before. And so you, yeah, watch out for that one. It's not like the GT3 trophy. There's a lot of mistakes when it comes to the strategy usually from these guys in those races. Let's have a chat with Nicholas Knowles, who joins us now in the comms box. Nicholas, I mean, a mixed bag. I mean, how are you feeling right now? Are you feeling happy or sad after that 2nd place?
Well, I'm sad, I would say. I threw away a win by myself, which I could have just driven it home super safe. And I even thought myself before the corner, Nicholas, slow down, do it safe, don't risk anything. And then I'm on the grass all of a sudden, lose time, and then he passes me. Yeah, I mean, it's good points for the championship, also for the team championship, but that win, that hurts.
It really did, because I was watching your penultimate lap. Your penultimate lap was really good because you managed to like get away, and then your S's were so good on the last lap. Like the left-hander at the end of the S's, you pulled up 2 tenths. I thought this guy's just getting better and better. Like the pressure's not getting to him. Next corner, you missed the apex by 50 meters, and yeah, it was bad news from there. But across tonight, like. If you said 20 minutes ago you got 2nd place, then I guess you'd take it, because you know your qualifying left you a bit of work to do and you had to pull off a lot of overtakes in those races to get up there.
Yes, exactly. Quali was shit, to be honest, like really shit. We messed up. I messed up my lap. I think I threw away a potential pole position maybe in the last corner, and because I just stopped at the apex more or less. And then in race 1, I think I started in P7 or something. I knew I had to get up pretty fast, and then did a bit of a mistake. Pushed out Igor a bit. I'm really sorry to him. Really sorry. It was really stupid. Just sudden loss of talent. And I think I finished P3 in that race. I think because Faria and Thompson had a bit of an incident. And then in the main race, I got up to the front quite quickly because I knew that Faria and I think Pennington, I knew that they would crash. Because then I just waited. They crashed, passed them. Then caught up to Michael and Gabriel, and also they were going side by side so many times, and I knew something's gonna go wrong here. At one point, I'm not gonna overtake Michael. I'm gonna wait for them to crash. Happened as well, and then I just tried to drive it home. Didn't work. Yeah.
Yeah, seemed like some good tactics there, and yeah, that was some. You had a good seat of that battle going on between the top two for a while there. Next up, we head to Interlagos, and we changed the format a bit to a 1-hour race. Have you done a solo race that long in the past in the Porsche Cup?
Yeah, I did them 2 seasons ago, season 7 at Le Mans, Nürburgring, and one other track. And I hated them, to be honest. I did not like them at all. I think they are too long, and also for Interlagos, the track is like 1000-degree track temperature, so our tires will die. Also, the length of the race doesn't help as well. I will not have much practice, so gonna be a nightmare. I can see that.
Well, we will see how you get on, Nicholas. We wish you the best of luck for that one. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Gabriel. I'm a bit sorry that he crashed. It helps me in the championship, but he was really fast then, and he would have deserved the points. And yeah, a bit unlucky, but yeah, it happens. Shit happens.
Well, congratulations on the podium tonight, Nicholas. Thanks for coming up and having a chat with us, and best of luck at Interlagos.
No problem. Thank you. Bye bye.
Nicholas Nolder there, not very positive about next time out, but it's fair enough. It is going to be like 54 degrees track temp at Interlagos, so you can understand his hesitancy. Aaron, who do you want to talk with?
Well, I'm just curious at how Gabriel is feeling. I mean, you're probably still leading the championship, Salomon, but I mean, that race was possibly your most frustrating this season. Just talk us through it.
Yeah, no doubt it was my most frustrating race. Me and Yanni had an incredible battle. I kind of spied on him in the heat too, and he had an insane pace. But I know I'm good at defending, and other than that, I've got pretty decent pace myself. So I thought I could make it stick. It was really like a great battle between me and Yanni, and respectful driving and fair driving, and we gave each other space, everywhere that we could, and it was really tough but fair battle. That ended up in the worst for me. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really sad to see the way it ended, and as well, it got even worse for you towards the end with that incident. I think it was Christensen meant you finished all the way down in 18th. But do you think that this won't really hurt your momentum, and do you think you can still keep up this sort of fighting for the lead constantly throughout the rest of the season, and especially next week with such a different format?
Yeah, I'm not even gonna comment on the crash that happened on the last lap, because I would say stuff that I shouldn't say. I'm fuming about that one. But my pace, I won't be in the midfield. I'll be in the front, for the rest of the season. And I'll be fighting for the lead, definitely. Let's just say that hopefully this was the one and only time.
Yeah, and well, for the championship's sake, I think we hope for that as well. It's always a joy to see you go well to well with the rest of the drivers. Yeah, on that last crash, I totally get how you feel. As a driver myself, that's happened a couple of times. So, but yeah, speaking of next week, with that 60-minute format, just talk us how you're feeling for it. Do you think it's going to definitely change up a couple of things. Do you think we're going to see some different drivers up the front?
Definitely, I think so. Because with these heat formats, we have drivers that might not really be good at keeping their tires, and pushing the car too hard. And if they do that in this 60-minute format, they won't really survive for long. So it's going to be a lot of keeping your tires at the right temperatures.
Well, thank you for that insight, and it's going to be super interesting next week. But before we let you go, Gabriel, as always, anyone you want to give a shout out to?
Of course, I'd like to give a shout out to Oats and Motorsports once again. And yeah, everyone at the team and the great guys over there.
Well, thank you, Salomon, and well, best of luck for the rest of the season, and let's hope this is the only dent in this season for you.
Let's hope so.
I can confirm that he is still the championship leader, Gabriel Salomon. So yeah, not too worrisome for him on that front. I guess we should have a chat. Actually, I just realised I think we have our overall race winner available. We're going to have a chat with Patrick Thompson now, who managed to take an incredible race victory today. Patrick, I mean, wow, that final lap, you're racing along, looked like Nicholas had it in the bag. I mean, what were your thoughts when you saw him run wide at turn 7?
Yeah, I gotta be honest, he went a bit wide for the first right-hander, and I was like, okay, I mean, this could give me a potential opportunity to fight him down the straight and maybe have a good battle in the final chicane. But then I think he just, unfortunately lost some focus from the previous mistake and went wide again in the next right-hander. So already coming out, I had a much better run, and yeah, it was a bit of a fight in the end, but I think the pass was almost done by the chicane.
Yeah, seems pretty perfectly put together for yourself. How was it racing with Michael and Luis as well? Do you race sort of your teammates a bit differently compared to the other drivers? Because it seemed genuinely that you guys worked quite well together as a three.
Yeah, I mean, it's no secret that we were in chat together, sharing our little tips and tricks and just making sure that the fights were advantageous for the team as a whole.
And what's it like being part of the academy? I mean, only joined, I think, in the last few days, as far as I'm aware. Like, how is it being part of the organization, and how's it working with Michael and, of course, Luis and the other Apex guys?
Yeah, I mean, it's so brand new that I don't even have access to the official Apex team Discord yet. I mean, everything is just getting rolling now, so it's really amazing to have a guy like Danny, who is obviously one of the very top people within the P-Cup community. I really look forward to the learning experiences he can share with us and help us on our way to also potentially become one of the top guys ourselves. Yeah, definitely. So I'm really excited to get this going and working with the entire team as a unit.
Definitely, yeah. Michael's one of the top drivers, and he's certainly one of the top coaches as well. Very useful guy when it comes to giving advice. Is there anyone you'd like to go shout out to, Patrick?
Yeah, I mean, of course, the team, and especially for tonight, it will have to go straight to Gianni and Luis. I mean, without those two, it just simply wouldn't have happened. So I have to give the shout out to them.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming up and having a chat with us, Patrick, and keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Patrick Thompson, their Apex Racing Academy driver, and finishing number 1 tonight in the A final. I think that's pretty much everything for us tonight. Thanks to Apex Racing Academy, to VRS, and to SDK Gaming for sponsoring this series and sponsoring this broadcast and helping us out on Apex Racing TV. Just check out all of their products using the links in the description below. If you've enjoyed this video, please do leave a like on it and subscribe to Apex Racing TV as well. We've got some more races coming up, especially now that we've got the new official series coming up. Super Formula season finale is on Thursday. 4 drivers in the running to take the title in that one. That will be very, very good action. And we've got Spec Racer Ford, we've got a Weekend Warriors on Sunday. I think we've got the return of the Radical Racing Challenge on Friday, and many other series. GT3 Trophy on Friday, and many others. So do subscribe to the channel and check out the Apex Racing TV and Apex Racing League social media accounts as well on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. But for now, from myself, Sam Fitzpatrick, from Aaron Smith and Joshua Wilkie, we have had the end of the Salomon dominance. Let's see how the rest of the season comes from here on in. We'll say goodbye, and we'll see you back for 60 minutes of action at Interlagos in 7 days' time. See you then.
Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.